Hi, welcome, Karibuni, and thank you for gracing us with your presence this morning. This show addresses serious topics in a light and fun way as we engage in discussions with our guests who are entrepreneurs, industry leaders, innovators, and we want to hear their story. So today in studio, we have Nancy Sunday, we have Samuel Mwangi, we have Mwangi Wamae, and our host who is a familiar face on our screens, Mr. Waweru Njoroge. Over to you, Aweru, as I will now quietly work on the controls together with the Momo the Invisible in the background. And kindly introduce our guests. Looking forward, guys.
All right, thank you very much, Martin. Martin, of course, is the man behind the curtain. Again, thank you very much for joining us this morning. This is Great Live, where we're talking about great leadership. That's Gr8 leadership. In the studio, as been mentioned, we've got three of our guests. I'd like them actually to introduce themselves. Guys, if you can give us a bit of a background of who you are, what you do, and also let us know whether what you're doing now is the result of COVID creation, or is it an augmented version of what you were doing prior to the pandemic? So I'll start ladies first. Nancy, please go ahead.
All right, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Martin and Waweru, for the initiative, for inviting me. This is great. This is great for the business world. So by way of introduction, my name is Nancy Sunday, and I'm a mom and a wife. And mark you, those are two different full-time jobs. Huh? So professionally, I'm a marketer and strategic management expert by training. I have worked in the media, in the airline and transport industries over a span of about 18 years. And I have been also an entrepreneur for a number of years. I have tried my hand in agribusiness. I have owned clothes stores. I have run a butchery. I have run a food kiosk. I have run a car hire business. Before, of course, the entrance of the Ubers. And then, so currently I'm running Nancy's Organics, and I specialize in organic foods, including honey, raw and filtered honey. I also bake granola. I pack oats and do roasted wimbi. So that's what I do currently. And I also part-time consult in marketing and strategy and call center setups. That's about me, basically. And prior to COVID, I had just finished my studies mid last year, graduate studies. So I was looking forward to get a job, but I had purposed that by the end of the year, if I didn't get a job, I was going to pursue business, which I have always done, on and off. So that sort of just gave me a platform to continue COVID, staying home more often. So I decided to pursue business. So thank you.
Thanks, Nancy. Samuel.
Yes.
I'd like to take the same question for you, sir.
Yeah, Samuel Mwangi. I'm a husband, and professionally I've studied IT in security. That's what I major in. And before COVID, I was running Kalidad Systems Limited, where we deal with IT security, hardware and software, that's cyber security and CCTVs. And after the pandemic, now I do agribusiness. I do sale of green vegetables. Yeah. That's
all right, James. James, quick one from you as well.
Hi, everybody. Mwangi, James Umai. To follow on the theme here, I am a husband and a father of three. Prior to March 15th, I was a farmer. I came back to Kenya in 2018 after being away for about 35 years. And I came back and I basically took over a farm that was in the family in Chakanyeri. And my customers, I was very happy with my customers, and they were schools and hotels. And we all know what happened to both of those industries or those markets on March 15th. So on March 16th, all my orders were cancelled, and I was informed I would not be getting paid anytime soon. So I had vegetables in the shamba, in the farm, and so the options were either to dispose of them at throwaway price in the market or to local brokers. But I opted instead to send a message out to people in my various WhatsApp groups saying I'm selling vegetables from my home here in Nairobi, and it took off. The first weekend I did a farmer's market, but then when this social distancing thing became serious, I moved to dispatching by borders from home, and it's been more successful than I anticipated. So yeah, that's my story.
Okay, guys, thanks very much for the brief backgrounds. Let's jump straight into it. Of course, today's show is called Fresh Essentials. Try saying that 3 times fast. But it's basically about agribusiness, as you heard our guests actually introduce themselves. I'd like to say, as a follow-up to what we did last week, which was catering through COVID, there's an emergence of satellite kitchens, as it were. And I want to know how much of these satellite kitchens now constitute your business, per se. I'll ask James that question.
Currently, almost every single one of my customers is typically, and I'm not saying this to be gender insensitive, but typically women who run their homes and individual homes. I have, whether or not they're actually, cooking for resale, I haven't been informed. Only one of my customers has informed me that they're doing that. But I do agree with you. I've received numerous messages about people cooking from their homes and shipping stuff. Not my customers yet.
Okay, fair enough. I'm sure there's going to be potential there. Samuel, same question to you, please.
Currently, I have only 2 customers. Yeah, those are hotels. Yeah, they are cooking and they do deliveries.
Okay, Nancy?
Yes, I have one currently who is a baker, and she orders from me, oats for baking and honey. So the rest are just homeowners, homemakers, women, as James said, who cook at home. Yeah.
Okay, cool. My next question then becomes this. Here we are on Great Live, where we're talking about great leadership. Obviously, it's on a social media platform, as it were, but I wanted to find out, and James, you touched on this, what has social media actually done for your business, especially in light of, for example, now what was announced last week on the 6th about extended curfew times. So how's the extended curfew times impacted your business, and how has social media actually also impacted your business?
It's very, I could summarize it by saying without social media, my business would not exist. Without WhatsApp, primarily WhatsApp. Every week when my vegetables come in, I send a broadcast message to people on my list, and the orders come in and the goods are dispatched. Because it's mostly going to homes, I found that by 5 or 6 o'clock, even after the extension of curfew, we pretty much stop delivering. We only deliver on Friday and Saturday because we harvest that morning. We want to have the freshest vegetables possible.
Nancy, please take that question as well.
All right. Social media is magical, to say the least. So this has been great for my business. I don't know what I would have done without, the virtual online marketing platforms that we get from social media. It has helped me, take orders easily online. It is fast, it is instant, and it is free. So this has really helped my business grow at a very good pace. So I'm grateful.
Thanks, Nancy. Samuel, same question to you.
Yeah, the social media has helped me to grow my business also. Yeah, like taking orders, sending flyers, and also the extended time has also pushed us to have more time on deliveries. We do deliveries to homesteads So it has extended our time.
Okay, thanks, Samuel. We can hear a chicken in your background, which is not a bad thing. I'm assuming, can you add that to your delivery options as well, apart from just the greens? Start doing chickens as well.
It shows I'm doing farming.
I think it fits with the theme of fresh and good. Yes.
Yeah. Now going back to the theme of fresh, the concept of farm to fork or farm to table in the case of Nancy, would you say that now has become, I mean, it always existed, but is it now a much bigger reality in terms of people saying, okay, fine, let's cut out either the middleman or having to go to, something I do is when you have to always go and squeeze tomatoes or avocados to see where they're ripe or not, then we trust that you guys will be able to then to deliver farm to fork or farm to table. Has that now become a much more embedded theme in terms of what's happening during this pandemic?
Without a single doubt. I'm sorry, I'll take it. Without a doubt.
Okay.
You've actually touched on a couple of things. First of all, because my customer is not there to squeeze the tomatoes or check the ripeness of the avocados, as you say, it is incumbent upon me to make sure that every single vegetable that she orders from me is as good or better than what she would have been able to find in the various stores, the zucchinis, the whatever. The minute that she believes that she can do better by going to the market herself, even though it's a chore that she probably doesn't enjoy so much, then I've lost a customer. So this whole concept of, and I call it provenance, understanding where the stuff you're eating comes from and how it was grown or prepared before it came to your table. So what I can do is I can guarantee to my customers that a good portion of the close to 40 or 50 different things that I sell come from my shamba, and I know exactly how my shamba or my brother's, and I know exactly how it was grown. And my to use something that was in the press, my sukuma wiki is not growing in some sewage drain. I mean, it's actually growing on a shamba. And the minute that she's entrusting me with feeding her family, I cannot let that down. It's got to be the freshest, so it's picked on Friday morning and it's delivered in Nyeri Friday morning. It's delivered in Nairobi Friday afternoon and Saturday morning. So people come to me and say, I've never tasted such fresh vegetables. It's not something you can get from a regular brick and mortar store.
All right, cheers, James. Nancy?
Yes, I just want to echo and agree with what James said. There's something in personal touch and trust that customers give us, as opposed to, the commercially grown fresh produce out there. You don't know where they come from. You don't know how they have been processed. But for us right now in this kind of business during this time, our customers, who are mainly our friends, our family, and friends of friends, can actually trust us. We can actually let them into our shamba or wherever we are processing from, and they can see the authenticity, they can see the goodness of what we prepare. And we also want to survive in the market. We also want our customers not to run away because of quality. So we try our best. We have to do what it takes to keep these customers, and that's being genuine.
Okay, Samuel, please enlighten us as well in terms of question we just asked.
Okay, it's the same for me here. First, my customers get that concern where the produce are coming from, where I'm getting them, whether it's from the shamba or the market. So I told them we're getting them from the shamba. So for you to give your client the quality, you have to give them the best. So I assure them I'm getting from the shambas, and I started with a friend. So she contacted her neighbors through WhatsApp. So that's how I started getting clients. And for me to keep up to speed with my clients, I have to give the best, the fresh. So I have to get the best produce from the shambas, also the good quality.
Thanks, Samuel. Actually, something that I was asking in terms of getting your product to your clients. Now, is it an aspect of border borders, people who are delivering, or I think, Samuel, you have an interesting story in terms of a complete 180 from doing IT to actually selling from?
Yeah, I do sell from my car.
Yes.
Yes, I do deliveries in my car.
Yes.
Yes, I do it as a family business. So my wife helps me and two of my siblings. That's how we do our deliveries. Yeah, we split. Yes.
Okay, Nancy, I'm assuming you use a delivery service and what have you, but also in terms of the concept of how you package your honey and how you package all these kind of things, there has to be some kind of appeal, or how did you say, okay, fine, this is what I'm thinking about, this is how I think it'll be appealing, and then my avenues or channels of distribution are A, B, C, D.
Okay. Yes. I want to say that I prepare and pack my products at home, just right in my kitchen. Then after doing that, I use a number of channels to deliver. For out of town orders, I use courier. I use cargo courier or DHL. And for local deliveries, I use my resources that I have, what I have in my hand. So my two adult sons help me a lot in delivery. I do it myself also. So I choose days in the week, Tuesdays, if it overlaps, maybe until Wednesday, and deliver my produce and get it to my customer. So those are the
Okay.
channels I use. I have also tried to engage retailers to move my products. That's not so bad also. I'm waiting for feedback. I've gotten 3 retailers who are have started retailing my products. So that's also going and working well for me for now.
Okay, thanks, Nancy. James, we lost you for a bit there, but the general question was, how do you get your products to your clients? Nancy has said she does it through family members, or she does it herself personally. Samuel does it from his car. What do you use? A helicopter, boat? What?
No, let me start with my vision. My dream was actually to set up a farmer's market in Kileleshwa that can serve what I call Kekila, Kileleshwa, Kilimani, and Lavington, which is basically the area. Obviously, with social distancing and everything, that's not going to happen, but that's my ultimate objective. But I still want to always deliver to people's homes, and I've got a network of border riders who actually come every week and they do the deliveries, and it's working very well. I basically converted one of the garages at home into a place where we put the veggies when they come in, and we basically distribute them from there. I have 3 people who help me out every week on doing that. 3 people in the garage plus the guys on the bikes, and that works well for me. I think I love it. I love it in the sense that I don't have any receivables anymore. I get paid when the vegetables are delivered. M-Pesa works well. So M-Pesa and social media and borders, I've got my channel right there.
Okay, thanks, James. As always, and as per what we did last week, we do have some images. We also have some videos in terms of what our guests actually do. Just a reminder, this is Great Live, where we're talking about great leadership this Monday morning. And of course, our topic this morning is fresh essentials. So it's about agriculture in terms of what gets to your table, especially now that people are tending to then not be able to go out as much as they wanted to, or as much as they need to go out, and you actually have the produce actually come to you and your home via various modes of delivery, as you just heard just now. So I just want to have a quick look at what Nancy does at home in terms of how she does the packaging. Yes, so let's just have a quick look at that.
Desiccated coconut. I put jaggery. I don't put the processed sugar. I put sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, very nutritious. Then these are almonds. This is sesame seeds. This is the finished product. It's super crunchy and smells delicious. I also prepare canned tomatoes. Nowadays, getting organic tomatoes is very difficult. So what I do to the tomatoes, I usually boil the tomatoes. I remove the peel. When I remove the peels, I clean the tomatoes. After I clean the tomatoes, I crush them. I add a little salt. I put in basil to preserve it. Inside this basil, they have and then I can them. When I can, I seal the cans by boiling. I do 3 tests just to ensure that the honey has not been adulterated. So the first test I'm going to show you is the water test. The second test I do is the vinegar test, and the third test I do is the iodine tincture test. For the water test, what I do is just a bit of honey. So I put some water and then I start swirling the water. I do small 250 grams. This goes for 250 shillings. I do 500 grams, also goes for 500 shillings, and the 1 kilo, which goes for 1,000 bob. Hi, this is Nancy of Nancy's Organics. I just want to show you that I am a consumer of my own products. We take my honey. This is Nancy's Organics. Nancy's Organics. See, my kids love it.
Breakfast oatmeal. I like to use my granola in oatmeal. And there is Nancy's Organic Acacia Honey. And I love my oats with banana.
Okay, thank you very much. Just a brief, Leaf. You see that thing happened last week as well. A brief look at what Nancy does. I believe we also have a clip in terms of what James does actually with regards to his business and the whole concept of fresh essentials. Right, so
that was Mwangi's.
I was going to say that was. It looks like more like Samuel's. We need to see a picture of the car actually as well. Something that. Yes, Martin, please.
I was going to load Sam's pictures. I have some pictures from his farm, but there's one very interesting picture you will see here, which is one of his point of sales. There we go. Maybe Sam can explain to us what's happening in the pictures.
Oh, this is me packing my deliveries. Yeah, you can see their kales, their spinach. There is terere there. Yes, this is where I'm harvesting from the farm.
Oh, just a brief insight into what our guests are actually doing in terms of providing fresh. Hey, there it goes again. Fresh essentials. That's not saying you can't say that.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, we'll just continue saying that for the rest of the show as again. And of course, we are live on Gr8. Something Nancy touched on that got me thinking in terms of there are your big supermarket chains that have fresh produce as well, who are in the delivery business as well. So what my question would be is this: how do you deal with the competition? How do you remain competitive? This is something we'd also asked last week in terms of there's a lot of people who are doing the Me Too game. So yeah, in light of that, how do you actually remain competitive? I'll ask Samuel that question. Okay,
how I remain competitive is I do deliver to my clients, and they're assured I'm getting my produce from the shambas. And right now I'm working on the logistics, how I'll do better deliveries to my clients. Yes.
James?
Oh God. How do I deal with the competition? Yes. I had touched on this earlier because primarily I need to ensure my customers need to be assured that they're getting a fresher product and a a better product than they'll be able to get from a brick and mortar store. So if I'm going to compete against the large supermarkets that have a major, they may have a central warehouse, they may have logistical infrastructure. By the time the stuff gets on the shelf, it may or may not be a few days older than mine. So my stuff is extremely fresh, and I work on that. Now I get a significant pricing pressure, and I benchmark against the zucchinis and the naivas in the Lavington area, and I make sure that my prices are keener than theirs. But I also don't. I'm coming straight from the farm, so whereas I might be getting like the vegetables that you saw in Simon's thing. At farm gate I might get 10 or 20 shillings a kilo. I'm able to sell them for 50 or 60 shillings a kilo. So there's this significant. I've cut out a lot of the people in the middle, which works to my advantage.
Okay, cool. Nancy?
Well, what I do is because of the competition from the supermarkets and the big players and beef farmers and beekeepers and all those, I try to give discounts for bulk buyers. So the more you buy, the less you pay. And just sort of convince my customers that about quality, again, the quality promise. It's better, there's a difference between bulk production and, limited consumption. I also try to stay close to my clients, just so that I am able to protect my market share by contacting them often, by just being on their face all the time so that they don't forget me. I also have tried to use information database, create a database of my customers. And so with this database, I'm able to track their consumption. After a month or two, I know when they reorder. So when I get that pattern, then I'm able to prompt them just before they exhaust their stock. So before they exhaust, I talk to them, just saying hello. And in the process, I ask them whether they need more honey, whether they need granola, whether they need to reorder anything else. And that's how I get more orders. There's also aggressive marketing. We have to aggressively market. As I said earlier, we have free platforms, the social media, which is magical. No one here can say that they have not grown because of social media. So that platform is good. And so I do Facebook, I do WhatsApp, sending flyers out to many marketing groups. Nowadays, most estates in Nairobi, most areas have online markets. So just getting to ensure that where your friends and family live, that they are able to share your flyers, your e-flyers. So that way you broaden your market. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Nancy. And I'd like to say to Dorcas Gary, thank you very much for the encouragement. She's saying good stuff. We're going to have a look at some of the hobbies of our guests. Before we do that, I'd like to ask this question. It's interesting. It probably relates more to Samuel and James, but I was looking at COVID organics. It's mugwort, wormwood, sagebrush, what they call Madagascar green gold. Did you notice any kind of request for this green gold when it was touted as a cure?
I did not. But what has actually astounded me is the popularity of what are called indigenous greens. The Managuzateres, the Kunde, the Sagits, just I cannot keep those in stock. Those are just flying. The other point I'd like to make is I don't see this as an interim thing during this pandemic. I don't think we're ever going back to business as usual. I mean, I think it's a buzzword. There'll be a new normal once this thing is all over. And I'm trying to position myself to take advantage of that. I want to be able to do straight from my farm to the marketplace. It's been a dream of mine for a long time, and this is actually the crisis has basically accelerated my development of what is a term for it in the US, some sort of a direct-to-consumer vegetables. So yeah, so this is a good thing for me actually.
Okay, cool. James, I know you're doing what you said. You're doing 2 specific products.
Me, I'm doing 40.
You're doing 40. I'm saying Samuel. Sorry, Samuel. I meant to say Samuel. Samuel, you're doing two specific products.
No, I'm not doing 4.
You're doing 4. James,
Yeah,
you're doing
around
40.
4, 5, yeah.
And James, you're doing 40.
Yes.
Okay, then I'll ask this question to everybody. With regards, wow, indeed. What is your biggest mover? Nancy, I'll start with you. I mean, do people tend to go towards the tomato preserves or anything that's your biggest mover? Then I'll move to Samuel, then I'll come to James.
Well, my biggest mover is honey. Of course, that's the product I started with. So it has moved quite well, quite fast. And I'd like to believe that during this pandemic, everyone is trying to take as much dawa as they can. So, honey is a component, it's an ingredient of the dawa. So that moves quite fast, and I'm happy with the progress. Granola is my second, so it moves also fast because kids at home, they take porridge, oats porridge. Parents buy for their kids oats porridge. So oats, granola, and honey, but honey moves the fastest.
Thanks, Nancy. Samuel, what's your biggest mover?
My biggest movers are the indigenous, like the spider plant, managu, terere, and spinach. Those ones, they go very fast. And they're the most that I get orders for. Yeah.
Okay, James, you've got out of a portfolio of 40, you must have at least 1 or 2 that are major sellers.
Easily spinach, followed by, I'm actually just looking at this, spinach followed by tomatoes and potatoes. But I didn't start with 40 products. I started with probably about 15 or 20, but through requests, I've added products and things like mushrooms and fruits, which I don't grow, but I get fruits from the wholesale market. But my customers wanted to avoid having to go to the greengrocer. So.
Okay, thanks, James. Nancy, quick question for you with regards to when you're doing your canned processed foods, how do you deal with the likes of KEBS, Kenya Bureau of Standards, and things like that?
Okay, thanks, Waweru. What I can say, it's early days. My business is still a baby, still growing. I'm still learning. So I went to KEBS and Kirji to just find out about the process that is involved or required to get all the certification, and just also eventually so that I'm able to put my products on the shelves of supermarkets. And the list is endless. It's there's so many requirements, but I'm determined to do it. So I've started by going for medical first. So it's a process, but I have started slowly. It doesn't take a day or a week or a month, but I am slowly getting there. So I've started the process. It's tedious, but yes, it's doable.
Okay,
if you want to be in this business and to progress, then you have to do it.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Nancy. Remember, guys, you're watching Great Live, where we're talking to leaders in the field of agriculture. We're talking about fresh essentials today. I needed to go back to something that was triggered by James's response. Something I was talking to about my dad yesterday, and he was actually of the opinion, and I think a lot of people do share this opinion, there will be no such thing as post-COVID. It is the way we found you can find inoculation for yellow fever, and you can find inoculation for influenza and things like that. James, I think you did touch on this, but yeah, going forward, is this going to remain a mainstay for you in terms of saying, okay, fine, it might be a side hustle, but you can see it supplementing any other kind of income that you'd like to actually make or maintain a certain lifestyle and those kind of things. So I want to know from Samuel first, would this be something that you'd naturally want to then say, okay, fine, IT is something that I am doing and that's what I'm good at, but this is another source of revenue that I'd like to explore further?
Actually, I've discovered it's something that I can do also on the side, and it's giving me refreshment. And when I go to the shamba, it's so refreshing. When I was growing up, I was really wanted to be a farmer, and I can see the actualization is coming up now. Yeah, so this is something that I would eventually do. Yeah.
Okay. James and Nancy, I think you've actually touched on that, but would you like to expound on, for example, there's a lot of people who might have had plans for 2020 and they said, okay, fine, by mid-month or mid-year, I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be doing this, that, and the other. How has this pandemic now actually changed your view or your plans for 2020?
Oh dear.
I'll start with James.
I remember around New Year's Day sending WhatsApps to my friends saying 2020 is the year of making money because it can't possibly get worse than 2019. Little did I know. So initially, my objective was, although I always had a long-term objective of doing what we call community-supported agriculture, from my farm to my consumer. This crisis has actually precipitated that, made it happen much faster. In aggregate, I'm not making as much money as I was making to the hotels and schools, but I get paid and I'm able to keep the farm workers. I haven't had to lay a single person off. I had to reduce some wages, but I haven't had to lay a person off.
Sorry.
Nancy, is that you?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure people are calling Nancy to say, I want this honey right now. No, pick up the phone, tell me.
Nothing like a present. So
you know.
the other opportunity, and this touches on what Nancy spoke about. The other opportunity
right.
that this pandemic has provided to myself and all the other people, like the people that were on your show last week, we're able to do business without being harassed by kajo or various things. I mean, I find, I don't want to be a session of beating up on government, but it's very difficult to do business in this marketplace. But people are now preoccupied with addressing the issues of the virus. So I'm able to actually ship vegetables out from my home in Lavington or my friend's place in Gr8leadership without them coming and threatening to shut me down, which is typically what. And I say the same thing with respect to the other red tape. I mean, the Bureau of Standards does some really good work, but it also raises the cost of doing business. So right now I'm deliberately flying under the radar with respect to doing all those things. I'm offering a fantastic product, but I know that once things settle down, I will have to go the formal route of there's fresh vegetables, there's nothing to do. But when I start to deal with packaged stuff or processed stuff, my objective is to use the vegetables that are left over and process them into stuff that I can put in jars that have a longer shelf life, as opposed to going to the composting. But that will require, a lot of work with KEBS and Kirdi and all of those relative people.
Okay, thanks, James. As a follow-up actually to that, and something we asked last week actually, if you could use one phrase, one word or one quote to describe your current situation, what would it be? I'll start with Samuel for that. If you could use one word, one phrase or one quote to describe your current situation.
Adventurous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nancy?
Yeah, I would use optimism, and maybe resilience.
Okay. James?
Fun. I like to have fun. What's life about if you can't have fun? I have fun growing the stuff. I have fun selling it to my customers. I love hearing from them. Obviously, I like the kudos better than I like the, oh my God, this product wasn't quite what I expected. But I even that, at least I feedback is, and if you buy anything online, please give your suppliers feedback. Oh, I loved it, or oh, this carrots weren't as sweet as I would like, whatever it is, because then I'm every week I'm trying to improve my business, because I want that mama. Let's call her, to use the overused term in Kenya, Wanjiko. I want Wanjiko to say that she's getting better vegetables from me than she could from just about any place else. Certainly, I'm better than the kiosk outside your estate gate, but even better than the big supermarkets. So yes.
If you do say so yourself.
No, there's no question. I mean, coming from my farm back home, have you seen some of the stuff that's in the kiosks outside your estate? I mean, it's been there for a few days.
Actually, now as a follow-up to that question, if you've had any disgruntled customers, how quick is your response in terms of customer service? As in, I got something, the jar, for example, for Nancy, it was not packaged properly, or it had gone off, or whatever the case may be. How quick can you respond to actually a customer in need if they have any service that was not up to their standard? Samuel.
You go by the client and you can refund or replenish what they say it wasn't up to standard by according to their standards. Yeah.
Okay, Nancy.
So it's not a perfect world. We make mistakes. And we just have to be real about it. We have to tell our customers that, look, I'm sorry this happened. This is not the usual. Maybe replace what they have or improve next time, just to apologize. You know, some things are out of our control and we make mistakes. You know, for example, there's a time a customer called me and told me, hey, the honey you gave me became, you know, like sort of hard. It's not liquid anymore. So what do I do with this? Is this honey or is it sugar? What do you do to your honey? So I had to do extensive research and just find out what could have gone wrong, because I'm not bees. I don't know what they decide to do sometimes that their honey is hard. So I had to do research, and when I did research, I found out that actually honey solidifies when it stays still for some time. So I had to explain that, but still I replaced their hard honey with liquid honey. So yes, it just depends. We have to be flexible from time and again. We have to listen to the customer. That's customer service.
Okay, cool. Sorry, James. Yes.
In my case, it's very simple. I tell my entire team, everybody from the border guys to the guys in the garage, I want my customers to feel like they're opening a gift at Christmas when they get my packages. If they're unhappy for any reason, I will replace it. I'll give them a credit. I'll M-Pesa them their money, whatever. It is so much easier to retain a customer, even one who is unhappy, than to try to go out there to find new customers. So my customers are always right. And now, if every week you're telling me the entire package is not good and you're the only person who's doing it, then maybe I don't do you as a customer. But I haven't found that. But I got a message the other day, I wasn't happy with your carrots. Immediately, I actually went to the market, found good carrots, and sent somebody there at my cost to replace it, because they understand that mistakes happen, but I want them to understand that we will rectify that error as soon as we can and to their satisfaction.
Thanks, James. Just a quick reminder, once again, you're watching Great Live, where we're talking about great leadership, and our guests on this morning's Fresh Essentials show, Samuel Mwangi, James Omai, and Nancy Sunday. They're just giving us insights in terms of how they have now changed what they're doing in terms of, as James had mentioned, moving from business as usual to business unusual, and how that has basically shown how they are demonstrating great leadership. I believe there's aspects of Hobbies that both Nancy and Samuel actually have, which is something that they have in common, that I'd like to have a look at that, you know. So that's a brief insight as to what Samuel and Nancy like to do as hobbies. Obviously, a lot of stuff was outdoors, and now you're kind of restricted in terms of what you do as a result of social distancing and curfews like that. That's Samuel now. Again, great outdoors. Something we actually need to take up, and this is going to be one of the last questions that we'll be closing the show with, but we'll do it when it comes up. Mine and what I wanted to know at this point in time, and actually it leads on from what we've just seen in terms of hobbies. What are you finding yourself doing more of now that you have? Well, I don't know whether you have downtime. It's my assumption you have downtime. What do you find you're doing? You're sleeping a bit more in the mornings, possibly staying up a bit later, catching up on movies that you hadn't watched in a while, suddenly developed an interest in knitting or crocheting or whatever the case may be. I'll start that question with James.
Oh God, well, clearly I'm spending a lot more time at home than I had previously. I've always enjoyed cooking, so it's one of my passions. So I do that as much as I can. Especially, I like to be on the grill, the barbecue grill. But I read a lot more. I find my attention span is not quite as long as it, so I don't read full books as I used to. But I read a lot of. My personal growth, intellectual growth is important to me. And just basically keeping busy. I'm enjoying. My family was previously living abroad and happened, thankfully, to be stuck in Kenya when the curtains came down. So I'm spending time with my daughters and my wife, and I'm enjoying that. So yeah, lots of good things come out.
Okay, Samuel?
Yeah, I'm enjoying more time with my wife and learning a few recipes. I'm doing baking with my wife, so I'm enjoying. And other times I'm spending in the shambas. Yeah.
Nancy, what do you have to say about that?
Well, since I find myself at home most of the time, I have started writing, which is something new. I didn't know I could write a book. I'm doing a book, so it's new. It's a new hobby, and I like it. I'm liking it, actually. I am definitely doing more gardening, more reading, more cooking, and home improvement. Just the other day when we were walking in the neighborhood with my husband, suddenly everyone's gate is painted. And before that, they were all looking rusty and old, but now they look fresh and new. So, I think that's just a result of people staying home more and realizing, oh, my garden doesn't look so good. My gate is not, up to standard. So the people keep on doing these things that they have been putting aside for a long time. So I like it. I like the new normal, as you call it.
Okay. Then to my next question, and probably I'll start with you, Nancy. But what actually has been the emotional impact of what's happening around you in terms of the pandemic, social distancing, maybe not being able to see relatives who live in areas who cannot come back to Nairobi and things like that? What is it? What has the emotional impact been?
So of course we are humans and we have freedom of movement. Right now we don't have that. So our movement is restricted and we don't like that. I don't like that, actually. So I like to go where I want to go when I want to go. But currently I'm not able to do that. It's sort of just dampens your spirit and brings in some sort of depression. I am not able to interact as I was able to before. And human interaction is, it's our natural way of living. So because I'm not able to interact with my friends, have a cup of tea, just give a hug to a friend when they need it, when they're crying, or as ladies, we like hugs, we like to cry, we like to talk so much. So we are not able to do that. I have to be on the phone for 45 minutes or an hour with my friend just to understand, but still it doesn't count. So that has sort of dampened my spirits. I don't like it. I don't like it much. I miss human interaction. I miss freedom of movement.
Okay, thanks, Nancy. James, same question to you.
Luckily or unluckily, whatever, I can actually get out of town because my vegetables are an essential service for you Nairobi people. So I do get up to Nyeri every now and then.
You Nairobi people, thanks.
But things have changed. My wife works from home. This homeschooling thing is just
yes, it's crazy.
Yeah. You seem to have lost James. Samuel, can we jump to you as we try and get James back on?
Yes. Myself, I love outdoors, so being restricted to movement, and also love seeing people, and it brings my morale down. But I've discovered something else. I go to the shamba where I feel good every day, and it was stressful. My wife is working from home, so all of us being at home, it's sometimes tedious. Yeah.
Okay. James, have we got you back? I can't see on screen. I just wanted to confirm. Okay, fine. James, no, we still don't have James. Just again, I want a quick reminder, you're on Great Live, where we talk about great leadership. If you have any comments or suggestions, please send them on our Twitter to Great Leaders Live. That's Gr8 Leaders Live. On our Facebook, we are actually Great Leaders Live as well. If you have anything you'd like to put in terms of suggestions on going forward or guests you'd like to see on the show, please send an email to greatleadership@gmail.com. James, we lost you. I wanted to finish with you quickly and then move on to the next question.
Okay. I think I don't know where I dropped off. I was just talking about how my life had changed, and I was enjoying being with my family, and I mentioned how teachers were getting a lot more respect from me because homeschooling for a 4-year-old makes no sense, and my 9-year-old thinks the internet is for YouTube. So yes, it's interesting. We have caught up, and a bunch of us at one stage started having happy hours on Zoom, and Martin was one of those when this thing first started. So you can't go to the pub, so you basically all go on Zoom, and you each drinking your beer in your own home, but you're having a chit chat. That worked well until it faded away. But yeah, we're social animals. We need to be around people, and if we can't be physically around them, then we need to use technology to get that the proximity we need to the people we love.
Very random, strange question, and it's not to say that all customers are equal. If you was to borrow from George Orwell, all animals are created equal, but some more equal than others. And not to put you on the spot, but who is your most consistent customer? As in, you can call them out by name, and you can guarantee, like clockwork, when your alarm goes off at 6 a.m. in the morning, whatever the case may be, you can guarantee at 5 p.m. On a Friday, James, or whatever the case may be, that you're going to get this order from this person without a doubt. Name and shame, or name and put them in the line.
Amolo Okero would have to be probably my most consistent and loyal customer. She from the very beginning, when I sent her a WhatsApp, she when I had that farmer's market that 1 week, she actually helped me put the vegetables out on the table and was selling next to me for like 3 or 4 hours. So yeah, and every week she drives by, she'll be at home every Friday, and she's the first to order, and yeah, she's definitely up there. I've named her.
Nancy, who would you like to name?
Well, I don't have any specific names, but my friends, my close friends, what I call my tribe of about 5 friends, 5 girlfriends, have been my greatest cheerleaders. They have been my greatest customers. And, they buy my products not because they need them. Sometimes they just buy to support me and to make me feel encouraged and good, that I'm making effort, and they can see the effort. Sometimes they buy for their mothers, they buy for their families, they buy for anyone. They have never said no to my products. And I'm very, very grateful for these customers. My sisters, my family in general have been my good supporters. My husband, they have supported my efforts. My sister, all the way from Melbourne, has bought, since before the airspace spaces closed, she bought my products. Imagine, from Nairobi. Whenever anyone was going back, she would buy and buy and buy stock from me. So, again, it's just friends and family who are close, who have been very supportive in this initiative. So I would, if I had extra stock and I called any of my friends, any of these friends or family members, they would buy my stock. So yes.
Samuel, question to you as well.
Mostly my clientele base is ladies. Yeah, but this lady, she's called Linda. She was among the first clients, and she always orders each and every week. She has to order something. Yeah. So big up to her.
Okay, cool. Now we're about to wrap up, but then I'd like to get some insight from you in terms of people who will be ordering from you after this show in the course of this coming week, coming months. What would you reckon this, if I was to say, fine, I need a breakfast after this, or I need something to eat, or, what would be something you can say, okay, fine, this is what you need to start your day with, or this is what you need to end your day with in terms of giving you energy and what have you. Yes, a lot of people have different theories in terms of what gives you energy and what does this for you, what keeps your skin glowing and all these kind of things. But from your experience, what have most people, looked at and said, okay, fine, I need this because of I am either on 1 meal a day or intermittent fasting and all those kind of things. So what would be your recommendation for today in terms of a meal I can go and have? I'll start with Nancy.
All right. So they say there's the old thing that goes, we need to eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a queen, and dinner like a pauper. So breakfast is quite important. I recommend oats. Oat porridge is very nutritious and energy giving. And you can sprinkle on it granola. You can have it with banana. You can put honey on top of that, top it with honey, and that will keep you going. It will give you the energy buzz that you need for the day. Yes, that's my recommendation for breakfast.
Samuel, what would you recommend if I was to ask you that same question?
For breakfast, I would recommend the organic arrowroot, sweet potatoes. Yeah, those I would recommend. And for lunch, you can have a side dish of the greens. They add to the iron. Yeah.
Okay, James, we've got you back on. What would you say in terms of what would you recommend to our viewers in terms of what they should be ordering from you this morning, or what they should be able to have over the weekend when you do deliver?
What I would love for my customers to do, and I would like all of you to buy from me next Friday, is when you get your delivery on Friday, realize that stuff has been picked that morning. Just take the tomatoes and the greens and make a salad. Don't cook it. And then just make a little dressing, a little vinaigrette, oil and vinegar, and a little bit of onion marmalade or something sweet and some mustard, and just feel the explosion of flavors in your mouth from eating super fresh food. So I'm enjoying salads a lot more because I really enjoy not killing the vegetables with overcooking, and I trust my vegetables, so I'm very happy to eat the salads.
Right, just a quick reminder once again, you're watching Great Live. We were talking about great leadership, and our guests have demonstrated that very much in terms of how they've adapted to the pandemic and how they've augmented their business, or some who've actually gone from the aspects of IT into agriculture, agri-produce as well. Our guests, of course, are Samuel Mwangi, James Wamai, and Nancy Sande. And we've got about 2 minutes, so I'm going to ask each of you what your parting shot is. And I will go ladies first. What is your parting shot for this morning?
So thank you, Aweru. I'd like to first quote a famous Greek philosopher, Heraclitus, who said that the only constant in life is change. So if we ponder about our lives, we can actually attest to this philosophy. Change is inevitable. We must be flexible enough and elastic enough in our businesses and our personal lives in order to accommodate the change that is going to come. Maybe the pandemic, COVID is not the worst that has come. There might be something worse that is coming or better. So we must be flexible enough to let nature take its course. Secondly, I want to say that there's a reason for the season. This season has come with its own challenges, but also with its own opportunities, with many, many opportunities. I started my business in January and I have seen it go on an upward trajectory. So all is not lost. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what life throws at you. What matters is how you respond to what it throws at you. So finally, I just want to say that we should make hay while the sun shines. God bless
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nancy. Samuel, please let us know what your parting shot is.
My parting shot is we remain focused and we remain open-minded and be ready for change, because times are changing and the world is changing very fast. So be ready to change and to move with the current flows. Yeah.
Thanks, Samuel. James.
Unfortunately, there's a car outside.
I was going to say, somebody's trying to steal your car.
No, it's not mine. Okay, thanks. This is a message to everybody. What this pandemic should have taught us is that there's no such thing as a safe job. There's no such thing as being too cozy. Get out there and sell. We all have something that would be of value to other people. I have vegetables. You could be an artist. You could be a whatever. And selling it is a four-letter word, but it's not that kind of four-letter word. It's okay to sell. so go out there and sell. Some people have a fear of telling their WhatsApp groups that, hey, I've got something to sell. Go do it. This is it. This last week, as Martin knows, because we're in the same WhatsApp group. So Gilani's in the crew was selling lamb legs, and I brought 60 of them in, and I sold them to my people in WhatsApp groups. I was silly. I didn't make any margin on that one, so I need to improve my business. But there's things to sell. Get out there. You're adding value to your networks now. Don't be a pest, and every conversation in your WhatsApp group shouldn't be you peddling something. But we've got such creative people. Let's go out. Let's find out. As you mentioned, Wawero, somebody's knitting. Sell your knitwear. Do something. Get out there. So that's it. That's what I have to say.
All right. Thank you so much. There's something about a four-letter word that you just said that triggered something I was thinking. It's a bit of a chafu thought, but it's something along the lines of it's not the size of the boat, it's the motion of the ocean. And the ocean has become very choppy. And you guys have shown a lot. I know it's a bit shuffled, but yeah, you guys have shown a lot of resilience and a lot of great leadership in terms of when things and the tides have changed, you've actually moved with them and not sat in the corner saying, woe is me. What some people like to say, pour me another drink. So yeah, thank you very much for taking the time to actually enlighten a lot of our viewers, and myself included, about what great leadership is. This has been all about fresh essentials, and I've been able to say that this time. I'd like to say a very big thank you to Nancy Sunday, a very big thank you to Mwangi, and a very big thank you to Mwangi James Wamai.
Just one last thing. I would love to the fellow guests. I mean, maybe I can sell your stuff on my platform. So we need to talk. So
yes, sure, that would be good.
I like saying this, James. You've been given an opportunity, so between me and Martin, have your people call my people. We'll set it up. All right. So we'd like to wrap this show up. I'd like to say a big thank you once again to our guests. Of course, Mato and Elijah, the men behind the curtain, who really helped this show get along fantastically. Mato, your parting shot.
Well, thank you to all of you. Lovely always to hear stories and to see the hard work, the resilience. I like the way Monkey James said, don't sit at home. Whatever you have, sell. Any product right now, you can sell. Thank you all. And I hope that the show will in part boost your sales. I'm busy reading comments coming over here, which are really nice. I've just seen this one here from David Oribi. I invited the crew to my Saturday night Zoom parties. Okay, thank you, David. And yeah, thank you all. It's been a lovely show, and I wish you all a lovely week.
Okay. See our viewers next week. Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.